All right. Good morning, everyone, for another installment of Morning Coins with John and Chaz.
Morning.
Hey, Chaz.
Hey,
How's it going?
good.
Cool.
Say hi to Jake's.
What's up, Jakes? How's it going, man? Good job producing today. Getting all those slides done, Jake. I know you were up not late last night typing and looking up Ripple and checking out Augur and making sure we had a good show for today.
Yeah, his little toes are wore out.
So, Augur is a trading platform.
That's giving it a lot of credit.
Okay.
I would call it a gambling platform.
Shots fired already this morning. But before we get into it, this is Morning Coins with John and Chaz. On the STEEM blockchain, I am at John Spalding, all one, and Chaz is at CRollo3. He just doesn't like to change his name in here for some reason. I
haven't figured it out yet.
He must just not want any visitors. So let me go ahead and change that for him. And we will get rocking. So while I'm changing that, Chaz, you want to read them the disclaimer? Because we're not telling them what to do in the crypto sphere.
No, we're not. We're not giving advice on what your investment should be, because cryptocurrencies, futures, stocks, and options trading involves substantial risk of loss and are not suitable for every investor. The valuation of cryptocurrencies, futures, stocks, and options may fluctuate, and as a result, clients may lose more than their original investment. All investments discussed on this show are for informational purposes only and are not recommendations to buy or sell.
Take that.
Yeah.
Bases covered. And I changed your name, so now you're CRollo3. So in case anyone is
Cool.
watching out there in the Steamiverse, they can check out your blog. What's new on your blog? Anything?
I have not posted a new one yet, but the newest one coming up here as soon as I'm able to get around to it is we created a shelter for our feral cats outside.
Okay.
It's like an eating sheltered eating area. So when it's raining and snowing and blowing, they can go under the shelter and have their breakfast or dinner or whatever they're eating.
Good deal. Good
And
deal.
be protected.
How long did it take you to make that?
I did it in stages because I didn't want to throw them off. Cats don't like changes. They do not. They absolutely hate change. So I put the sidewalls up the first week. And then once the sidewalls were up and they got used to that, I put a top on it so they have a roof over their heads. I mean, total time put into this, we're looking probably about less than an hour.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I gotcha. So before we get started, this will be good for people that pick this up on VOD and people that are watching live. It'll just be a little bit of an explanation. So what we do in here is we come in, do kind of a soft opening, read the disclaimer, then we go through some links. And links really are just like some highlighted stories that Chaz has found out there, and they're usually blockchain related. So they're not specific to our platform, token, coin, or blockchain specific project that we're talking about. But then we do our project and we highlight a project a week. And like I said, it can be a platform, it can be a blockchain project, it can be a token, it can be a coin, and we'll highlight it. So if you have any out there that you guys would like to see us feature or dive into, let us know. And if you have a token on Steam that you're working to develop as a smart media token, let us know too, and we will put together a presentation and feature your work and give you the opportunity and option to come on live and talk about it as well. So that's what we do here, and then we do a little bit of technical analysis at the end. Chaz does have experience in the past in the finance, banking, and investing industry, and he's really good with technical analysis. So we like to do that at the end, give you guys some stuff to chew on while we're here. So today's offering is Augur, but before we do that, let's do some links.
So the first one is just the Augur website, and we're going to talk a little bit right near the beginning about Augur and the Augur Foundation, which are two separate entities. Next one is XP. XRP are being used for loans on the CRED platform. So they're gaining traction.
Okay.
Gaining traction.
And I saw them. They're battling with Ethereum.
Yeah, they took over. Last time I looked, they were
place.
number 2. Yeah.
Did you do a little dance? Did you do a little dance?
I was like excited about that, yeah, because that's just moving up the ladder, and so I knew this was coming. It's just a matter of time. But
they're still number 2 with it looks like they now have a $1 billion edge over Ethereum on their market cap.
Wow.
So they were tied, and then it looks like now they are surging ahead.
Yes. Relative strength index is one of the technical indicators that we're going to look at later.
Okay.
So I just put a brief explanation up there in the link. You can watch the YouTube video, and it'll give you a pretty good idea. And as a matter of fact, I believe that later on I use that same YouTube video. We can take a look at it.
Gotcha.
Where's my key? This is it. I know.
I read that. I read the headline. I thought you were that. I thought that was you for a minute.
A guy loses his key, no one will help him get it back, so he sends a bomb to the company.
I'm telling you, man, we are brazen here in America. We do not care. Like, there's some sort of propensity for violence that we have. And please, right? It wasn't American. I guess I'm assuming here.
I didn't read the entire article. I just thought it was pretty funny that one of my pet peeves is lack of help in recovering your key. So I just thought I'd put that up there. Maybe somebody will read that and take note. This is an interesting article. The next one is commercial real estate. Blockchain set to change the face of commercial real estate. Now one of the things with the traditional markets is if you want to get more than one person involved in an investment in commercial real estate, you have to create some kind of corporate entity or professional corporation. Well, these are going to allow people on this platform not only to buy commercial real estate, but they're going to allow to do like a crowdfunding operation to do that. So
interesting.
I think it is. I think here's what a thing where we have, and maybe a good one for us to look at next, but they're solving a problem. Is that getting multiple people involved? Let's face it, if you can get involved in a commercial real estate deal and you don't have to form a corporation, put out all this money to do it, you can buy a small portion of it, then I think this is a good idea.
You can buy a small portion of a home, right? Or like
it's commercial real estate.
People can go in and buy an office building together, and then they can sell it.
Yeah. Or
they can own it.
Yeah, they can own it. Mostly, I think the idea is to own the building. So I think this is a great idea, and we'll maybe should take a look at that one later.
It'd be interesting to have some commercial real estate folks in here that don't have any blockchain experience to come, and then maybe someone from there.
It would be, yeah.
Or someone that is like writing or doing stuff with that kind of project. Maybe we do a little research and see how quickly we could find some people and if they'd be interested, and then plan a show around that.
Great idea. Let's do that. Let's work on that one.
Okay.
3 coins for Coinbase. Just an article indicating maybe these 3 coins. I think it was XRP, EOS. I can't remember the third one. Just,
EOS, huh?
Yeah. So Coinbase is going to start putting more coins up there. And
sure.
There is a YouTube video talking about shorting Ripple, because I don't know why you would want to do that at these prices. And I think that's the gist of the article. It says, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And the article after that, Augur tested. Crypto News did a little test on Augur to see how it would work and operate. So
okay.
A review of it. And this is the one I love down here. Swift is doomed. This is the money transfer that the banks use, currently the centralized version.
Oh yeah.
And
I was gonna say I've never even heard of it, but now that you've mentioned it, I'm like, oh yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
the CEO, there's been speculation that there's going to be a joint operating agreement with Swift and Ripple. The CEO just blew that out of the water. He says, we're not going to have a joint venture or cooperation with Swift. We're going to put it out of business.
He said those words.
Well, not exactly.
Oh, okay.
Basically, he said, we're going to, the words were replace.
Okay.
Which is pretty close.
Yeah, exactly. It's saying, no, we're a competitor.
Yeah, we're a competitor, and we're gonna replace them. So yeah. I thought, wow, that's strong language.
We do the same things. Our tech's better.
Yeah.
You probably went out and bought XRP after that.
I'm I put as much as I could in there already. I'm betting on this is going to be the one. You know, Bitcoin made a lot of millionaires. I'm betting this is the one that's going to make me a millionaire.
So there we go.
Well, so there's some speculation by intelligent people out there that we could see $300 a coin on Ripple once.
What?
That's the person I've been trying to get on here, Susan from Esoteric Trading. She has an incredible amount of knowledge in the banking industry. She knows what she's talking about, and I know because I've been in banking, so I can usually spot somebody that's talking nonsense. And she's saying $300 is not out of the question once certain parties get involved in it. So I'm trying to get her on the show. We'll see how we can do with that.
I'm listening.
Yeah. She talks about supply and demand and institutional trading and what people do on settling trades, like when bonds come due. They have to have the money for the bonds to pay out. She just went into a lot of detail on her video, and so.
Have you heard back from her yet?
No, I haven't. I sent her one follow-up email, and I could tell from her other videos that I've watched that she's very busy. So I'll just keep following up with her and see if we can get her to come on.
Sounds good. All right, well, so let's find out a little bit more about Augur, and then we're going to go and dive in.
Good. Let's watch the video.
Augur is a prediction market platform that rewards a user for correctly predicting future events. Prediction markets allow users to purchase and sell shares in the outcome of an event. The current market price of a share is an estimate of the probability of an event actually occurring. The prices of each share adds up to $1, so if you buy a share at even odds, it will cost you 50 cents. If you end up being right, you'll receive $1 for that share. These markets rely on a scientific principle known as the wisdom of the crowd, which states that if you ask enough people something, their average answer is usually far more accurate than any expert. This allows us to create one of the most powerful forecasting tools. The problem with previous prediction markets is that they were centralized, allowing them to be easily shut down. Another problem is that with any prediction market, someone has to report what actually happened after the event occurred. In centralized markets, one person does this, which means there can be mistakes or outright manipulation. With Augur, we'll have thousands of users reporting on these outcomes using something called reputation. Using Augur, anyone, anywhere in the world can create a market asking a question about anything. Market makers provide some initial funding for the market and in return receive some trading fees. Anybody can freely buy and sell shares in the outcome of that market. And the current share prices provide the best estimate of that event occurring. Imagine being able to Google questions about things that haven't happened yet and receiving accurate odds of their occurrence. That power, the power to glimpse into the future, is what we believe everyone should have access to.
Whoa.
So, just off the top of my head, First of all, when I have a background in statistical research, that was my college. I was a degree in sociology with a background in social research.
See, that's why we like each other. I was sociology with a degree in organizational development.
Great. Yeah. So here's what I thought, oh, this is a actual prediction platform where we're going to get, some answers to something that's going to happen.
Right. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Augur is a prediction market platform that rewards you.
Sorry. I tried to escape and it started the dang video again.
Okay. So the first thing I see is, or understand is, they're not using a random pool of individuals. They're just putting out a market.
A platform.
A market on their platform. And so we're getting a biased response group, right? Because who is on this platform? Who do you think the typical person on this platform is going to be?
Traders? Speculators?
But what about age groups, demographics? Are they going to be 50 and 60 years old?
No.
40, maybe?
Maybe? 30? 40?
More like the millennial group.
Mm-hmm.
So really it's a bias. It's going to be biased because it doesn't do a random selection, or their sample pool is limited. So right away I see the lack of value in that. So now, having said that, this is basically, you're rolling the dice. This is a gamble. It's a gambling site is what it is. Because of
how they allow terms to be set, right? How they allow questions to be forecasted.
You can word the question any way you want. And I guess one of the things is, and there's I want you to play a little slot of a video later. I think I put it on here. Is that you can say it's a yes or no answer.
Mm-hmm.
You can have multiple choice, and there was a third one. I can't remember what it was now.
Okay.
But so you can throw the question out there, but how? I don't see how they're going to be able to get enough people so it's into it that you're going to be able to predict any answer. Second thing I see here is that lost my train of thought now.
Let's use your slides then.
Okay. Thanks, John.
So the next one is the
creator of this platform, or the developers, is the Forecast Foundation.
Okay.
That is their sole purpose in life. So the Augur market platform is separate from the foundation, and the foundation claims nothing, no income, no input other than developers developing the platform. So they're sort of siloed off, except for the platform development. So they just throw it out there and it works, and whatever happens, it's your problem.
Right. We just provide the platform for you guys to trade and forecast and da 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 da.
Yeah, it's just there for your use. It's a tool, and we're not taking any responsibility for the results.
Gotcha.
So the next slide actually shows their model, and it's a pretty straightforward model that they have. You create a market, you start trading on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting. Some of the other videos that I watched trying to get a feel for it, they used the terms bet.
They did?
Yes, they used the term bet.
Yeah,
So
see, those must be older that they didn't, that they forgot to go ahead and update.
Yeah. And then the market event happens. You start the market event, which means, there's a time frame associated with it, which could be a year, up to a year. I mean, if the event you're trying to predict is way out there, it could be on that system for a while.
Right.
Then after the event time is over, you do the reporting. And we're going to talk about the reporting aspect of this too, about how do you decide what the right answer is? Where do you get your information from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, once that's all taken care of, it's settled.
Oh my gosh. That doesn't sound instant at all.
No, it's not instant. I mean, you could have an instant one that says, look, this is going to be decided in 7 days.
Right, like what if what if someone does a market creation for sports betting and they just, they do all that. And then you have market event, win, report
Yeah.
and settle. Like that shouldn't be okay. I mean, that's fine. You have to do that, right? You have to report back to the system what happened and then you have to, but it doesn't, because it's separate, doesn't sound like it's automated. Is it?
No,
Am I getting that wrong?
You have reporters, right? You select your report, and we're going to talk about that and how that happens.
Oh, okay.
In the later slide. But and there's failure points that have to be overcome. Let's say the reporter decides not to show up. So anyway, the later slides, I'm going to outline some things I see as issues.
Okay.
With the platform.
So I'll tell you, I went through their website and I was like, I had the same reactions you did, but it was in a little bit of a different way. So I said, okay, I get this, right? But you're not a prediction platform. You are a helping individuals to bring their communities over here and do some forecasting or betting.
Yeah.
So we had the same reactions, but my reaction was more like with the federal, like I always put it in perspective of either where I live in Ohio or the United States is with the sports betting being legal now, that this could be a platform where people could use that. Like they could go and they could invite their family or friends over there and they could put it on here and put the bets on their website or something like that, or put the predictions on their website using that language.
And so that leads me to regulation.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so that's the thing, right? Is their wordsmithing? They're gonna be the SEC is gonna come after them if they try to operate in the United States with stuff like that. And not only that is the people that are on the platform. You can't do anything public like with anything, like with your profile or anything, because everyone knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but some organizations might want to do that, right? They might want to use the platform, and create instances, events on there. Right. That's the other thing is like if you think about it that way, then anyone can become their own individual market now. A sports bettor can be, instead of being a bookie, a backroom bookie that you think of, with it being legal, you can start a business around it and follow the rules.
Or how about futures trading? The company thinks their raw materials are going one way, so they place bets on it to protect themselves on the downside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can get nefarious, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there's no censorship on this platform.
There's not gonna. Well, that's the beauty of blockchain, right? Is censorship is out the window.
Yeah.
Not only that, like all of the media, like it's gonna be people watch media right now wherever they want, and people don't want to be censored.
It's true.
So it's it. I mean, we're going hyper individual now, and the key to being successful, in my opinion, for being hyper individual is to be in good communities and doing good work. So, and like you said, following the laws that are in place and being good people.
Yeah.
Gone Rogue says, Augur, ! He says, imagine this. Someone puts a major wager on someone's death. The wager is so high that it triggers a death sooner than what would have come naturally.
So there is a wager on there, and it is the probability that Trump will be assassinated this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, Gone Rogue hit it right on the head.
Right. But he also says he says these types of new ways of running things scares people, and that's what he loves about this space. With that,
scare people.
With that, no, I think he likes the complexity with where we are with things. Is that like, in order for human beings to take it to the next level, we're gonna have to evolve a little bit, and that includes some people are gonna have to be scared in order for us to figure things out and get where we need to go. So,
Well, that's creative destruction, right? I also call it conflict theory.
it's chaos theory, conflict theory. I'm gonna check. We'll now that I know that you're a sociologist at heart, we'll have more discussions about that. If for those of you watching the VOD, if and you don't, you heard us talk about Coinbase, and all this is generated, all this media is generated and put on the STEEM blockchain. If you're interested in getting involved in crypto, then you can create a Coinbase account. The links for these slides are provided for all of our shows, whether it's the blog on STEAM or in the YouTube description. So you can go to this slide and click one of those referral links, and if you get $100 worth of crypto, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin, Zcash on there, and we'll get $10 in Bitcoin, and so will you. So you invest 100, we get 10, you get 10, so you'll have 110 of the crypto of your choice, and you can get started. And then get STEAM on Coinbase. That was a STEAM blast from a month ago, but we still like the slide, and so we put that link in there. And that's a community effort. So you guys think about that. The next thing is, and Gone Rogue, you might like this slide. Tomorrow we have our special episode, Digibyte and STEAM, What's Possible with Two Strong Communities, and that's featuring Josiah Spackman from the Digibyte Foundation. And it's also featuring simulcasters from the Steaming Pile. And Chaz is going to stay awake later than he normally does on a Saturday night and join us as well.
I'll take a nap ahead of time. And,
so that is tomorrow, Saturday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's 1:30 in the morning UTC. But Josiah is from New Zealand, so that is actually 3:30 in the afternoon in New Zealand time.
Wow.
So you guys tune in for that, and we'll see you tomorrow for that DGB and STEAM, What's Possible with Two Strong Communities. So back to Augur. Going to our next slide here.
Okay, so a lot of these are excerpts from the white paper.
Okay.
Which is sort of technical. It's not too bad, but as we discussed, it allows you to create a market. You have to designate a reporter. And this reporter does not unilaterally decide the outcome of the market. The community always has an opportunity to dispute the outcome. And the designated reporters report. So Augur allows anyone to create a market about any upcoming event. So there is a control system in place that if the selected reporter gives a resolution that is not, someone feels is not a good resolution or is incorrect or invalid, they can challenge it.
Okay.
And
are the reporters, like, can you choose a reporter that you know? Or are they all like third-party verified reporters?
The bottom, look at the bottom highlighted paragraph.
The market creator chooses a resolution source that reporters should use to determine the outcome. The resolution source may simply be common knowledge, or it may be more specific, such as the United States Department of Energy,
BBC.com.
These guys.
Or address to a particular guy.
Okay.
All right, so here's my thing. You're really good at this. You at marketing, at this kind of gambling. So you create your own sources.
Absolutely.
You create you get someone else to do it. You create websites that are going to support your prediction.
These guys. I
think you're getting to where this is going.
What I'm laughing at what side you told me I had to take.
Well, John, this was your selection.
No, this is great. This is great. So there's bonds and stakes.
Right. They have a validity bond. So people do have to put up money. It's interesting that the validity bond is paid in Ethereum, and the designated reporting bond is, or the no-show bond is paid in REP, which is reputation coin or token.
Okay.
The no-show bond, what it does is if the person's supposed, or the individual, or the selected source is a no-show, doesn't come before the reporting, someone else can grab that bond, the no-show bond, and say, I'll do the reporting, and they get the bond. So the native token, of course, is a reputation token.
Okay, and that's the one that's currently ranked 52 on CoinMarketCap.
Right. So by using this, the reporter declares that the outcome on which the stake was placed matches the real world outcome of the market's underlying event. And there's something that we're coming up to here on this that's going to make this even crazier.
So this next one's a video, or are we watching some of this?
Yeah, and
or is that just
this one's on, just like the first 3 minutes is all we want.
Okay.
If that, you decide when you think it should stop. Okay.
All right, sounds good. We're gonna watch a little bit of this as soon as it loads. A little slow today.
What's going on, guys? My name is Kit, and I'm back here today with another tutorial on Augur. In this one, we're just going to look at the buying and selling of shares on Augur. This is really the meat and potatoes of what Augur is all about. It's about creating marketplaces, and then it's about being able to make wagers and bets on whether or not you think an event is or isn't going to occur. The market that we're going to be looking at is one I created a few days back, which is the question that I asked is, will Bitcoin be trading above $10,000 at the end of 2018? I think this is a pretty basic, simple question to probably do a tutorial on, because it's just an easy yes/no question. You know, there's no multiple options, which really, once you know the basics, the multiple options aren't really difficult either. So to start this video, I'm going to give you the real quick, too long, didn't watch. If you don't want to spend the next 10 to 12 minutes watching this entire video, that's a-okay, because I'm just going to show you the basics of how this works in a buying and selling, and then I'll go into a little more depth after that. For quantity of shares, I'm just going to be using whole numbers, but do know that you can put this down to like fractional amounts. You can go super far as like the amount of shares that you do want to buy or sell. But for ease of understanding the concept, I'm just going to use probably a 1. Okay, so say that you think that Bitcoin is going to go over $10,000 at the end of 2018. But you know what? You only think there's a 40% chance of that happening. So the way that you would do that in your buy order is you would put 0.4. That's it. Because all the limit price means is the percentage point that you're, for buys, this is the likelihood that you think that this event is going to happen. So if you were 90% sure and you were incredibly confident that Bitcoin was going to go over $10,000 by the end of the year, you could put one buy order out there at 0.9. You would be putting at 0.9 ETH, and you would only be getting 0.1 ETH in return. And that's all this thing is. It's just looking at the odds of an event happening or not, and you and the counterparty are agreeing to enter into this wager together. Obviously for them, I mean, I think that this, if I saw that order out there, I would snatch it up in a heartbeat. I mean, that sounds like a really good deal. But in the end, that's all buying and selling is. You think there's a 30% chance of Bitcoin going over 10,000. All right, then you put at 0.3 ETH. But on the back end, you're going to get 0.7 ETH back. Because the odds have flipped in that point. You're saying that there's a much less likely chance that Bitcoin is going to go over 10,000. Okay, it's a too long didn't watch, so I'm going to move on ahead to sell, but I'm going to come back more towards the latter half of the video and talk about this a little bit more. And I'm actually going to show you an example too. Okay, So say you want to short the market. Say you do not think there's any way in heck Bitcoin's going to go over $10,000 by the end of the year, though. But obviously, with that being said, you want to make sure that you're going to give yourself a chance to maximize your profit. But say that you think that there is that there's actually a 60% chance that it's going to go over, which is pretty high. But you still want to short the market, you know. At that point, you would put in a sell order for 0.6. And as you can see here, you're only putting up 0.4 ETH. And then if we go to the review, we see that your potential profit is 0.6 ETH for only having put up 0.4. So even though you're shorting the market, you think that there is kind of a likelihood, you think that there's a 60% likelihood that, you know what, Bitcoin might go over 10,000. I want to make sure that I'm wagering appropriately and I'm giving myself the best odds that I can. And that's all it is, really. Say, for instance, like you were incredibly confident that Bitcoin was not going to go over 10,000 for the end of the year. Easy. Go ahead and...
All right, I stopped it after he did some stuff on the sell.
Okay.
So he went through buying and selling on Augur.
Did you notice, though, the words he used? Wagers, bets, odds.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care what they say on the Augur website in their white paper. This is a gambling site.
I think that's already been firmly established.
Good.
But they're, you know, the aspect I like on it is they are giving the power back to the individuals to do that. One use case that I thought was important that came up just by looking through the video, and I did look at the website earlier, and so I saw the use cases they put up there as far as the types of predictions that can be done and things like that, is that college kids can use this as a template to learn how to trade.
Oh, yeah. Educational. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and they can use it with, I think, minimal stakes. You have some Ether, you get some, and, you know, you can learn how to use it. Real case, you know, real life scenario. I don't know. Maybe they get good enough, or the platform's good enough, or people use it enough that it covers books.
Could cover books, semester education, maybe, if they're good at it.
Yeah. And some other people might lose their stuff and go into debt like they would normally do in college.
Right. Then then they have to pay that back after the rest of their lives. So at any rate, that was just an explanation of how the thing actually works.
Yep.
The next slide really says it's just this pretty easy. Whenever the time frame ends, whenever that time frame is that you settled on, that's when the event concludes. And then, of course, we talked about reporting already, which the outcome can be challenged if you don't like the outcome, or if someone doesn't like it and says, hey, that's not right, I'm losing my butt here.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take another look at this, right? Sort of like an election trying to have a recount. I want a recount.
Right. So, all right. So how about this comment from Gone Rogue? He says, funny, because Wall Street calls it a prediction market. If Augur faces regulation, then so does Wall Street. They're both casinos, just with different applications. And he also said, cool stuff cuts out the middleman.
I disagree.
Say more, just for a minute. Say more, and then we'll.
Okay. So
use this time because you guys will be face to face tomorrow on the Digibyte STEEM discussion.
Sure. I think Wall Street depends on how you treat it, right? There are avenues for investing, and you're investing in companies that exist and have assets on this market. That's not true in every aspect, but there's no investment here on Augur. It's simply a gamble play, period. Yeah, people do treat Wall Street like it's gambling, but that's the individual doing that. The platform's not set up that way.
Gotcha. So, okay. I get both sides, I think. And I also think that within the platform, you could have actual companies or actual investments.
Correct.
If there is a player that uses the platform like that.
Right.
Okay. How about reporting? Any more about reporting?
Well, nothing more on that, simply that they pick the resources, and if the resource doesn't show up or cannot report, then someone can step up to the plate and take their place and take their bond, the no-show bond, and actually do the reporting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that happens and someone wants to dispute the outcome, that's the next slide.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so there's a way to dispute the outcomes. Someone just steps up, and they have to stake to dispute. You can't just say I don't like it. You have to actually put your money where your mouth is, right?
Okay.
So when a fork is initiated, a 60-day forking period begins, disputing all of other. So if this thing goes disputed and they can't resolve it, the platform can be shut down for 60 days.
For one dispute on one question?
Yes. All other non-finalized markets are put on hold.
That seems a little convoluted.
Yeah, it does. One of the things I think is that somebody can hold them hostage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a group can hold the platform hostage and say, look, we're not going to settle this dispute until we get our way. Otherwise, they're going to have to shut the platform down for 60 days.
I'll tell you, it's interesting. This is an interesting project. I'm glad we're talking about it.
It is. I mean,
the technical, I would not do this platform because I don't have any tendency to want to do that type of prediction analysis and like go and do individual trading and predictions like that. But I do see it can be used as a tool, but then I also see that there are some sophistication problems with the organization. But you know what? I don't know that we know enough about it, but like when they say stuff like this, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I think
to me.
I don't know. It's hard to explain some things sometimes.
All right.
So
And is this built on the Ethereum blockchain, or do they have their? Okay. So is it a token then? Is Augur then an ERC20?
I'm not sure about the disposition of the token.
Okay.
I didn't go into it that far. The other thing I didn't go into much was the Augur Foundation, what they're, other than their developers, what's their game here? Why are they doing this?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to know more about that. I just didn't have time to do it.
Sure. So settlement?
Settlement, once the settlement is agreed upon, they can, by selling shares, they hold on to another trader in exchange for currency, or by settling their shares with the market. So there's a little, you can buy and sell your shares on this, as we saw. There's an escrow account. I'm going right to the bottom on this one.
Okay.
To get the one Ethereum out of escrow, traders must give Augur either a complete set, if the market has finalized, a share of the winning outcome. When this exchange happens, we say traders are settling with the market contract.
What?
You got to do an exchange, a complete set. I had to go back and look that up earlier. It means just going through the whole process is completed from beginning to end. So that's a complete set.
Okay.
And so you got to get your F out of escrow. So that's where we go back to the bonds. One of them is set in Ethereum.
Ether. Call it Ether.
Sure.
You're so anti. You got to do things right in this digital world.
That's a subjective view of the world. I have a subjective view of the world.
I can tell.
Yeah. So that thing, ETH, that
Ether.
yeah, that is in escrow, you have to get it out of escrow, and you have to
You
cough up.
gotta pay the man, even
Got to pay the
though
man.
we're taking out the middlemen.
That's right.
Okay.
So in the big picture, uh, the next slide, it just shows how the entire process works in a flow chart. I thought that might help.
Market event happens, designated reporting, 3 days, designated reporter, open reporting, anyone can report, so it's 3 days max. If it's yes, go to waiting for the next window to begin. Dispute round, 7 days. Tentative outcome disputed, no, then it's finalized. If the tentative outcome is disputed, it goes to the dispute bond above fork threshold. Yes, then it has a fork, 60 days max, and then it's finalized. So it could be anywhere from 10 to 60 days after the event.
Right, after it closes, the event closes.
That sounds boring. I mean, that sounds boring. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to. Do you know how involved you would have to be to, like, do that? And, like, I just don't care enough.
It's not simple enough. It needs to be a simpler process.
Man, I don't even want to read that paragraph.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain what the 7-day period is.
Right.
They break it down into cycles of 7.
I mean, just to say yes or no, will Bitcoin be 10,000 or, in December 2018? All I want to do is click yes, and I want to know when do I win or what did I lose? And I want to know right after. I want to know January 1st. I'll even give them till 1 a.m. to finalize it and tell me if I've won or lost.
Yeah, 12:01 a.m.
I don't want to know in March. I'm already on to the next question.
Yeah. Well, they hope in their white paper say that should be a rare occasion when it goes out 60 days.
I know, right? Everything should be easy, but honestly, right, in today's world of AI and instant gratification and things like that, 7 days is a long time.
And
did the Blue Jays beat the Cardinals?
Yeah, you should know that like that night.
Right? No dispute. It's over. I love this slide. I was skimming through it. I'm like, there he goes, throwing shade.
My star rating here is a 2, and it's all they call the prediction platform. We won't go into that. I just thought I'd put the dice in there because it is a crapshoot.
Sure. So, all right, and this is new for Morning Coins, everybody. So, one thing we're gonna have to do is probably go back, and what might be cool is to have a table of all the tokens that we've covered and and then add your ratings to them. And we can even do that for an upcoming episode too, where we kind of just show the table and unveil your ratings and give some updates for each one.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. I like that.
But that's cool. I like that rating system. What we'll need to define are the parameters of your rating, like 0 stars or 1 star, it means what, and then 5 star means this, right. And just a little bit about like what you use to get there.
This one was purely subjective in that the use case scenario for me was like non-existent almost. So,
well, I think the use case as a predictive machine isn't there, but like as far as like being able to forecast, that's definitely not what this is. This is a individualized way for people to set up prediction and betting type scenarios.
I agree.
So, with that, how's your Mannabase account doing?
Yeah, we're still plugging away, bringing it in every week. I'm waiting for Mannabase to get back with us on their charity that they're going to support, and it was Angola. And so I'm going to ship off my small amount as soon as they come through with that agreement.
Good.
We do need, though, both of us, we need other people that are our viewers to get involved so we can increase that amount so we can send more money.
That's right. And so for those of you who don't know, Mannabase is a universal basic income blockchain protocol. Excuse me, and they're a nonprofit organization based in the United States. So those investments that you do into that platform are can be used against your taxes. But more importantly, you don't need to do that. You can just sign up, go through the KYC, and get an account, and you start getting Manna tokens weekly. And then the more people that you register with their direct referral system, the more of a benefit or a bonus you get. And so we're donating our current Manna to a community once Mannabase releases which project they choose. And so you guys can sign up using our links. They're in the description on Steam. They'll be in the description on the YouTube VOD. And they're also, you'll have to copy and paste the link from Vim, because I don't think they're active on Vim. So,
yeah.
And you guys can use these slides as well and find them that way.
That is cool.
So are we watching a little bit of this relative strength index video?
Yeah, this should be a short one. I don't think it's very long.
Okay. Let's get it queued up over here. What is relative strength index? About to find out.
Welcome to the Investors Trading Academy talking glossary of financial terms and events. Our term of the day is RSI, Relative Strength Index. The Relative Strength Index is a momentum oscillator that measures the speed and change of price movements. An RSI calculation oscillates between 0 and 100. Traditionally, the RSI is considered overbought when above 70 and oversold when below 30. Signals can also be generated by looking for divergences, failure swings, and centerline crossovers. RSI can also be used to identify the general trend. A technical RSI compares the magnitude of recent gains to recent losses in an attempt to determine overbought and oversold conditions of an asset. A trader using RSI should be aware that large surges and drops in the price of an asset will affect the RSI by creating false buy or sell signals. Like many momentum oscillators, overbought and oversold readings for RSI work best when prices move sideways within a range. RSI is presented on a graph above or below the price chart. The indicator has an upper line, typically at 70, a lower line at 30, and a dashed middle line at 50. The movement of the price between these lines gives strong signals to buy or sell an asset. Divergence between RSI and price action is a very strong indication that a market turning point is imminent. Bearish divergence occurs when price makes the new high but the RSI makes a lower high, thus failing to confirm. Bullish divergence occurs when price makes a new low but RSI makes a higher low.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, it's a complicated indicator, but I would say that that little bit there should give you enough information to be able to apply to that. And if you want to go to the next slide, John, I actually did put it on the chart.
Okay.
It is the green line at the bottom of the chart.
Gone rogue, thank you. Sorry,
Okay.
Jess.
It's okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so the bottom of the chart, you can see that there's a little bit of divergence between the yellow line, which is on balance volume, which is one of my favorites.
Right.
But I think RSI has some value here. Although next time what I'll do is I'll cover the MACD indicator on here, and we'll maybe do a comparison between the two.
Okay.
But you can see that the RSI line, the green line, has dropped, which indicates that it's moving towards an oversold position. You can see that dotted line right at the bottom there, and I believe that's your 30% line.
Uh-huh.
So If it dives below that or gets really close to it, you're looking at an oversold position.
What does that mean?
That means that and if I can't go into the details with it because I don't have them all in my head, but it means that the selling that's gone on in this is too much. There's not enough statistical information to support that the price has gone to this point. And so what it's going to do is it's telling you that maybe it's time to get in. You could use that as an indicator. You can see that the
Could it also mean maybe it's time to get out?
Well, you would want to do that if you look all to the left of the chart at the green line. You can see that where it peaked up to the top and almost pegged to the top of the space. Can you see that?
Yep, I can see that.
And you know what happened right after that?
It spiked. It went way up. Or no,
it went way up, and then what happened after the spike?
It came tumbling back down.
Yes, so it could be an indicating sell indicator as well.
Okay.
So if it's operating outside those dotted lines on the chart, then what you're getting is a oversold or overbought situation.
Okay.
And last week we talked about the pennant or the flag, the two green lines right on the chart.
Yep.
And we were talking about, I said the probability is that it's going to go up, but there's also a small probability that it would go down, and we have broken below that.
Yeah, it went down.
It went down, and the RSI index is indicating that it's getting closer to that 30% line, which would indicate it's an oversold position, and maybe it's time to get in.
Okay, that's interesting. See and that's where I would like to have some more seasoned folks on here that can actually do some. And you know what? You don't really ever know, because you don't know, with it being so decentralized, you don't know who's playing and who isn't, who's saying stuff, and who's speaking out of the back of their mouth with making predictions, and who really knows this stuff. Because like we can speculate, but you don't, like how much of this was that the Bitcoin Cash pump, and
Yes.
people are, the price of Bitcoin went up because people were using it to get Bitcoin Cash so they can line their wallets before the fork so they can get the forked coins from either one, right? So I'm assuming that was some of it, but then this was a dramatic decrease, in my opinion. But like you said, it's still within that range, but it's looking like it's oversold.
Right. And just looking at the past history there, if you look at that green line, that's the lowest it's been down for a long time.
Right.
Since the peak at 20,000, it's never been that low before. So what would you say? I mean, in my situation, although we're not making recommendations, I would look at that and say, yep, looks like a buy item. And I might be hanging in there though a little bit longer to see how low it can go.
So that's my thing, right? Is like maybe it does hit that 30,000. Maybe that's the point where you buy. And I think that's where you have to make a decision on how you feel about where all this stuff's going.
Yes. One of my things that I get a little antsy about in the past was pulling the trigger too quick on buys, right? So now I've learned that you just hang. You just hang and wait.
Right. What's been interesting to me is to watch these conversations unfold on Twitter between the different chainets, and seeing, like, analyzing stuff from there and really trying to figure that stuff out. Like, because on there you'll have your BCH folks are going to argue with your BTC people, and then every now and again you'll have the XRP folks come in and try to decimate all of them. So that's one place where you can lurk on some interesting conversations between these folks.
Yes, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of nonsense posted.
Sure. About 95% of it is.
Yeah, people have done a little bit of homework, but most of their research is based on short term, and I'm tending to take a longer term perspective on this and just hang in there. And I think it's going to pay off in the long haul.
Yeah. I think so too, and I think this year and probably next year, it's just given these platforms more development opportunities to keep with their communities, keep working on stuff, and kind of figuring out what their next phases and steps are.
Right.
Speaking of,
I advise people to be eclectic and pull from many different sources.
hmm how's the top 30 doing?
I don't see a lot of improvement. There is a little bit, but for the most part, we're still hanging in the same range since August or so. And I just think that with time, this will change. One of the important things I see here, there's been a change in the website for the CCI 30. Now they've added some analyzing tools to the site. You can look at different types of indicators.
Okay.
But I did see I read an article, and I wish I had saved it, is a gentleman saying it's important to watch the general market, the index, because there is some indications in that market of which way it's going to go.
Okay.
So we could apply some indicators. We could maybe apply RSI to this and some other things and see what it is, because the general market does the crypto market tends to move together for the most part.
Sure. Yep.
There are times when it doesn't, but for the most part, it's student body left or student body right at this point. So there's some value in watching this index.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, what are our conclusions?
You're a gambler? Join the club.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll stick with my financial markets.
There you go. Get in quick on Augur. You guys could be leading the sports sports prediction turnaround in the United States, and can line your pockets with enough Ethereum and Augur to last you a lifetime.
Yes, bet against the Lions, and you'll probably be a millionaire.
Think about it, though. All it takes is one good guess for the Lions, and
Yeah.
you can also be.
It's almost a slam dunk, really.
All right, everyone. So that was Morning Coins for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you watch live, we appreciate it. If you watch the VOD, we appreciate it, but not as much as the people that watch us live. And this is Morning Coins. I'm going to show the one last slide for tomorrow's special episode, Digibyte and Steem, What's Possible with Two Strong Communities. So check that out. That's at 9:30 Eastern on Vim, maybe YouTube, tomorrow night. So share that with everybody, and we'll have this VOD up soon. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Chaz, thanks for being here and for doing another great job putting these slides together.
Yeah, I had to really scramble on this one because I didn't understand the platform at first. And so once I understood what was going on, it sped up a lot.
Sure. Well, thanks for such a quick turnaround on hey, let's do this one.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
So
challenging.
I could tell you were wrestling with it on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was.
You're like, hey, we got something here. We need to make sure that we cover this right. I think we did,
Yeah, as long as everybody knows what's going on.
Right. All right, everyone. This is Morning Coins. We'll see you. Oh, no episode next Friday. Have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We will see you all. Have a good Thanksgiving.